Yo, it's Cooler Times 2000. Gang, gang to my cats, sup to all my ducks. I am here tonight with the People's Duck, Bread. Bread, what is up, man?
Yo, sup? What's going
Uh,
on?
I wish we could do a real life sub train right now. We just go like 15 minutes of me and you just saying sup back and forth, but um, we'll leave that for another time. Basically, I just want to jump on with you today to inform more people about why I'm so bullish on SupDucks. It's the first NFT I ever bought about a month ago, and it's led my life into a complete spiral since an obsession. I haven't been able to stop collecting ducks and cats and other things. So I just wanted to give my listeners the opportunity to have their life go in a spiral just like mine. Um, but to just give a background about you first, you host the What's Quacken Twitter space on SupDucks Twitter account. That's 10:30 Eastern every Wednesday. So if people want to listen to you more, that's where they'll find you, right?
Yeah, I guess if they want to hear me talk, along with Limp and Quack Maxi, um, we got a pretty good thing going. All of us have been in the NFT space for a little bit. We've listened, we've popped in as speakers on other spaces, and we all kind of just got together and agreed that it felt like there was something artificial about a lot of the spaces. No offense to people who are doing their thing. Like I'm a huge fan of a bunch of them. I don't feel like naming names, um, but we wanted to try and do something that felt a bit more authentic. Kind of just chatting about updates in the community, discussing things that we liked that was going on in the broader NFT space, maybe things that we didn't like. We've been bringing on some guests, bringing on people from the community to ask questions, just kind of talk and give their background too, and, make it feel like more of a real community despite all just being online for now.
Definitely. And I can attest to being in the SupDucks Discord that it really does have that tight knit community. I have bought other NFTs, but I feel like everyone kind of has their like home Discord, the Discord that they check first in the morning. That's definitely been SupDucks for me. So what was like day one of SupDucks for you? Because mine was just scrolling on Twitter one day and I actually saw FaZe Banks post his SupDuck, and curiosity just killed the cat for me. But what was like day one for you? How did this all start?
Kind of similar to yours, minus it being Banks who's the one who turned me on to it. I mean, I feel like a lot of this is scrolling through Twitter, conversations on Discord. And I was actually, I think it was at my girlfriend's place, and she was probably doing something and trying to get my attention. I was just like going down the rabbit hole of Twitter and doing like the endless scrolling, seeing what was up. And I can't remember who it was, but someone just posted like a picture of a SupDuck, I think, from one of like the previews that were out there. And I followed the trail and joined the Discord, went to the site, and the mint was already happening, and I was like, oh god, like I'm definitely gonna miss it. Like these look so dope, and like so many times I've like stumbled across a project randomly, and I click on, and then you click like mint, connect your wallet, and then it's like zero remaining, and you're like, oh Jesus. But this was like a slow burn, and it was a really smooth process, which is like a breath of fresh air in this space. So many times you have to crank the gas up and it doesn't work, and you have like a mini panic attack, and like, do I cancel, do I speed it up? I didn't have any of those worries. I minted a bunch of them. I was really excited, got my eggs, joined the community, and right away it was just good vibes.
Absolutely.
I own an ape. I'm part of the cheetah gang, so shout out to my boys in cheetah gang. I've owned gutter cats. I've owned cool cats. Um, I own Devils, which is probably one of just my other favorite communities that I've been part of for a long time. Cyberkongs, just a whole bunch of stuff, And I feel like I've been like a nomad, minus one or two of those that I just mentioned. Um, but something really was just different about SupDucks. The people that were gathering around this project and creating our own community out of, an appreciation of what this project could be before the eggs even hatched. it was just exciting. I was immediately drawn in and easily made friends and had fun conversations, chatting with Frankie and Stronk and the founders and just having a good time. And, it started to feel, really like an online home.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about Frankie Nines. Admittedly, I had never heard of him until SupDucks, but he's a uberly talented artist, and um, he provides me, as somebody who's invested in SupDuck, a lot of confidence. We've seen recently, and I won't name names, but other projects who have mysterious teams behind them, and I don't think that creates a lot of consumer confidence, if you want to call it that. But like Frankie Nines, you talked about him. He's somebody who goes on stream once a week, and he's super down to earth, and I think he has bold visions, and he's not just following other people, what they're doing. One thing that's really stuck out to me about his future plans for SupDucks was he didn't want to go into the 3D route. You mentioned CyberKongs. They recently had the CyberKongs VX drop, which was kind of the 3D version of CyberKongs. But Frankie Nines really wants to create this as a 2D universe, and he actually mentioned as a comp the Simpsons arcade game as something he
Yeah.
wants to kind of base a future SupDucks game after that could be coming in 2022. What are your thoughts on like the SupDucks game that could be coming out, and just like that 2D versus 3D debate that Frankie's kind of aligning with 2D, which is kind of interesting.
You know, I think it's awesome. I've come to get to know Frankie a bit better since joining SupDucks community and, being the people's duck. I admittedly didn't really know him before this project, but after I dove in and looked into his background at Dapper and, him being the creative lead for VFriends, he's done some awesome stuff. And also the dude he's just cool as fuck, for lack of a better description. He's on his own wave. He's doing his thing, and he pursues it with a ton of passion and energy. I mean, if you watch his streams, he creates stuff like so fast, like it blows my mind. Like he started developing the app, and I was like, oh, maybe a month or two later it'll be done. It was like 2 weeks later, and the app hit the beta and was put out on iOS. So when he mentioned that, yeah, we were gonna dip into the metaverse, but we were gonna do it in 2D, part of me had to be like, oh, like we're not getting the voxels like the Kongs or like whatever. But at the same time, like it's a cool, interesting, and unique direction. Once again, like part of the thing that makes the Ducks so great is that they look so unique. They're loud. They stand out. So like, why would the project just, I guess, once again go with the flow on something when they haven't done that so far? And that's not to say that there's no possibility of 3D avatars or voxels, whatever you want to call them, coming in the future. I genuinely have no idea on that, but at least for now, Frankie and the team are they're pursuing this avenue. And yeah, man, if you've ever gone to the arcade and dumped all your quarters into that Simpsons game to smack people around with Bart's skateboard, like it got me really excited, actually, because
Yeah,
it's
it
just
speaks to me as somebody who played way too much Simpsons Road Rage and Simpsons Hit and Run on PS2 as a kid. So hearing those comps from Frankie definitely landed for me. Another thing that we learned recently, by the way, if you guys haven't already peeped it, there's a great new Medium article out that kind of lays out, and I'll link it in the description in this video and on Spotify. But really outlines what the rest of 2021 is going to look like for SupDucks. And another thing that I've actually mentioned on my podcast earlier was an airdrop for King Frogs. I actually made a purchase a couple days ago where I got a King Frog overalls SupDuck just because like I needed to have that pairing. Like I'm just like, I need that. And so I'm really excited about this. What can you say about well, just how fucking excited are you for the King Frog airdrop that's coming?
I'm pumped, and you know, I feel like airdrop is the buzzword of all buzzwords in NFTs. Everyone wants something that they could flip for free because they own something else. But I can only speak for myself. It's like I'm excited to see what we could do with these things. There's been mentions of breeding or um, experimenting on the What's Quack in Space last night. Actually, we had Frankie and the rest of the founding team on, to do some Q&A and chat and stuff, and we were talking about king frogs and the airdrop. And part of what came on was like, what could you really do with these things? Like, how could we have more fun with this? And one idea that was being discussed was like experimenting. So I'll wait if you want to maybe talk about tokens, or if we haven't gotten there yet. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, one project that I was in on recently was Cyber Kongs, which you mentioned, and I really love what that community is doing. They had the Cyber Kongs VX. That wasn't an airdrop; that was a mint. But they also have something called bananas, which are tokens, and that seemed to really be huge within the NFT zeitgeist for a couple days. And now there's been talk, not that this wasn't in works before with Frankie and the SupDucks team, but there's also been talk about duck tokens. We don't know what they're going to be called, but tokens that you can earn for holding ducks, and maybe even for creating cool memes. I don't know if you want to speak more on for people who aren't as versed in the NFT space. What is a token going to provide to them if they want to go and purchase their first NFT, which is a SupDuck? What could a token provide to somebody?
So if you're not familiar with NFTs, or even if you are, the best way to think of it is you're earning you're earning a token for holding another NFT, and it's a token created by the developers, and the utility for that token is whatever the developers want to do with it. um, if there's no utility, there's no real point of having the token. It's just kind of a random digital asset that it is what it is. But say you were to be able to customize or modify your SupDuck, or if we create a crazy science lab where you could experiment and change up your frog, and you could buy like, you know, bubble gum or boogers or like a magic potion using the tokens, and then you put some tokens in and you crank the lever, and then it zaps your frog and it does something, and then it changes the metadata on your frog, and it fundamentally changes what that NFT is. It creates utility right there. And then also just making it you know um, a transferable token. It's something that you could theoretically buy and sell on exchanges like Sushi or Uniswap.
Right.
um, we have a tip bot in the Discord where people goof around and they tip each other 4 cents worth of Ethereum or zero point 0.1 bananas, and they do stuff like that. So adding the SupDuck tokens to the mix, you know suddenly you could post the funniest meme in the world, and if there's a bunch of people who are have a nice collection or a nice amount of tokens, they could tip those to you. And maybe it's worth a couple pennies. Maybe it's worth more than that. I have no idea, and I don't want to speculate on price at all.
Yeah.
But you could use that token to do things in the SupDuck metaverse that is being built. Um,
Yeah.
and that's just really exciting.
Yeah. I think one thing that I hadn't considered, maybe some other people hadn't considered, was being able to customize. Like, I think, having some bubble gum for your frog is really cool. One other thing I wanted to touch upon with you before we bounce here, because we are talking to the people's duck, and I just wanted to hear your personal preference on what your favorite, or give me a couple, your top 3 or 4 or 5 favorite traits for ducks. For people who don't know, the traits, could be anything like a cyclops or the pothead. The way that these ducks or these 10,000 ducks are customized. What are the ones that stand out to you?
Oh man. Well, I'm biased because I have a decent sized collection that, I minted a bunch, and then I've been strategically selling to buy the ones I really wanted, because after they came out, I'm like, oh fuck, this is so cool. That one's so cool. Like, what could I swap out for whatever? So I mean, I guess I'll go kind of like in order of like just trait types to keep things simple, so I'm not bouncing around. I think the pink donuts are just some of the craziest looking skins that I've ever seen, and also the disco ducks.
Yeah.
Um, for clothes, the trash can ducks are hilarious. Uh, I like the cape, but I'm totally priced out of that one, unfortunately. But I love it. I think the cowboy jacket uh, needs a lot more respect on its name. It's a shiny pink jacket. In my opinion, it is like the equivalent to the pimp jacket in Bored Apes. So it's only a matter of time before everyone else realizes that too, in my opinion. Um, what else is there?
Well, I'll just jump in and say I think the skins are still undervalued somehow right now. You mentioned the donut skin, the pizza skin, the zebra skin. Um, those to me are the ones that, we're still so early. I think right now we're somewhere around a 1.2 ETH floor, but I see the floors rising for some of these specific skins. Um,
Yeah,
I,
as
I
more
really,
people. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I see those as kind of the undervalued one, and the ones that really stand out to me. I'm a big skin guy for the SupDucks. Those are the ones
Yeah,
that really pop.
I feel you. I have a pizza duck too, and I think one or
The
two
lucky man.
cheese ducks. I
Oh,
really tried. I mean, as things kind of slowed down for the past week or two before this most recent week, I think I'm just so bullish and in love with this project. Like, regardless of what happens, I'm like, I want the ones that I love. So I really tried to take advantage of the downtime in the market and scoop stuff up. I picked up what, in my opinion, is my forever duck, and snagged a wizard hat, which, um, yeah, that's never leaving my wallet unless it's going to my ledger. But
that's beautiful.
yeah, man,
Yeah,
it's so hard to pick. There's you have no idea how many ducks I've picked up on the secondary from selling some of the ones I minted, just because I was like in love with a certain trait. I love all of them, but yeah, there's definitely some that stand out.
yeah, and for people who might have not bought their first NFT, I think the SupDucks still provide a good entry point. And there's so much more room to grow. I This is just my personal opinion. I think it's the most aesthetically pleasing PFP project out there. I've thought that. I at one point had a dark moment where I sold all my SupDucks to try to move up. And I kept just going back to the SupDucks Discord. I kept thinking about SupDucks. Even when I was on Rarity Tools, I'd be looking at SupDucks. And I got back in as quick as I could. And I think for anybody else thinking about getting their first NFT, it's never a bad time to get a SupDuck. So I hope for people who've been listening to this, if you don't already have one, now would be, there's never a bad time to go and get a SupDuck. And I'm sure Bread, the people's duck, would agree with me. Thanks so much, man, for hopping on with me today. And again, if you guys want to listen to Bread more, and I'm sure you do, Wednesday nights on the SupDucks Twitter, he hosts a Spaces with Limp and Quack Maxi, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. And obviously, Frankie Nines is doing a stream every week, and there's so much to be excited about. So, yeah, just thanks for hopping on today, man.
Hey, man, it was great. I really appreciate chatting. It was fun.
Yeah, this is fun. All right, let's do it again, man.
Yeah, sounds good. Take it easy.